Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17 in Atlanta. It was a hard-fought game for both teams. Again, the Chiefs look very beatable. I wouldn't say they're looking exposed because Rashee Rice is coming into his own. Xavier Worthy's been drafted. Travis Kelce does need to get some more things going for him. There's no question about that. But I thought the Falcons did a pretty solid job in this game, excluding some of their offensive mishaps and a little bit of the play calling towards the end. I think they played solid football. They did a great job marching right down the field and scoring with ease on a busted coverage, albeit it was a busted coverage. Kirk Cousins is not going to miss those. And even though the Chiefs marched down and almost scored and answered right back with a 17-play drive, they intercept Patrick Mahomes in the end zone. And then after that, the Chiefs put on a pick Mahomes in the end zone. That was after the Chiefs had put up 17 plays on that drive, and it just really started it up for Atlanta. Justin Simmons clearly has Patrick Mahomes' number recently. Fourth straight game with a pick on Patrick Mahomes. Clearly, Justin Simmons used to play for the Broncos, which is in the AFC West, which is the same division as the Chiefs, so he saw Mahomes twice a year. But either way, it's remarkable. It's the 6th overall interception on him. Patrick Mahomes has 67 career interceptions, and just about 10% of those are going to Justin Simmons at 6. Darnell Mooney, he's really starting to come into himself in these last 2 games, starting to come into his own with Atlanta. Really a nice second receiver behind Drake London or, even Kyle Pitts if they decide to get him involved and used him, which I think this year we'll see an emergence of Kyle Pitts. I'm hoping anyways. We've seen if targets go up game by game, but it's just kind of been lost for Atlanta at the quarterback position and directly reflecting on Kyle Pitts since the rookie year with Matt Ryan. And the roughing the passer calls, just to talk a little bit about the officiating, they were horrible on Lorenzo Carter and Chris Jones. I mean, what are we doing, NFL? It's just another fine day of NFL officiating. The no PI call on Pitts was really hard to stomach after the replay, although I kind of thought in live action that it looked to be fairly close, but clearly when you run it back, you can tell, hey, what's up, bro? He said he's right here. I don't know why I didn't see you as viewing on Facebook, but either way, it's all good, man. I see you out there, babe. You know I love you. Dropping the heart in the chat, as always. The no PI call on Pitts, live action, I thought it was kind of close because, okay, you could argue the arms are here, but they're not wrapped around. Ball's coming in kind of tight. But when you run it back, you can tell it was a tad early on the contact. But the Falcons had 2 calls to go there. The Falcons had 2 calls go their way afterwards. And at the end of the day, they played Kansas City well. I understand it's another call that Kansas City gets when they need it, or it's not called against them. Okay, I can understand that. I can totally understand that. But Atlanta had 2 calls go their way, and they didn't capitalize on this. And again, I keep wondering when Kyle Pitts is going to receive a vital role in this offense. I mean, after him, there was Drake London, and then there was Bijan Robinson, and then you sign Matt Ryan 2.0 and Kirk Cousins, and you still only have 12 targets on the year. It just baffles me. You took a tight end 4th overall, and his targets cut in half the year after Matt Ryan left. Understandable. Jumped up about 40 the year after. Understandable. But 12 targets through 3 football games? You guys realize if Kyle Pitts is only getting 3 targets a game, he's only going to have 51 targets on the year, which would be his career low. His career low was 59 the year after Matt Ryan left. He had over 100 targets in his rookie year, of course, for Matt Ryan. We can understand that. But I just hate seeing Kyle Pitts not get incorporated into this offense. It's just frustrating to know how good of a player he is. And I laughed my ass off when the Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts. Just call it what it is. They didn't need him. They needed a pass rusher. I understand they went a little later in the draft, got their O-line, got their D-line. But I want to see Kyle Pitts get more incorporated. I'm glad you agree and see it as a fan, man. Y'all did have 2 chances to kick field goals to win. And when you come out with the aggressive play calling, these head coaches are just going to analytics themselves into the dirt. Dennis Allen's a prime example. John Harbaugh's a prime example. Nick Sirianni's a prime example. Maybe Raheem Morris is going to be an example as well. You had a couple of chances and you still have to come through with it. Now, the Chiefs defense I thought was kind of superb in this game because after Bijan scored the touchdown in the second quarter, they held Atlanta to just a field goal, which was early in the fourth quarter. Again, we understand Kyle Pitts pass interference wasn't called. It's not guaranteed that Atlanta scores there, though. I think the Falcons defense was in a pretty solid spot too, though. Holding Kansas City to 22 points and, 3 field goals after their first touchdown of the game before going another 2.5 quarters before giving up that touchdown. Over the last couple of years, that's not Falcons football. against the defending back-to-back champs in your house, Monday Night Football, and you make it happen. Rashee Rice turned into that very solid wide receiver one for the Chiefs, and really just his second year. It is his second year in the league. And you can see him getting involved more. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are definitely starting to trust him more and more. Now, the fourth down play call to end the game for the Falcons, I thought it was a solid play call because of the talent of Bijan Robinson. He has the speed to make that play happen. But when you look, grand scheme of things, again, don't don't personnel yourself to death if it's not working. Y'all just heard me go off about the Saints continuing to run the ball with Alvin Kamara when it wasn't working. Over 20 carries for less than 100 yards for the Saints in that game. The run game wasn't there all night for the Falcons. They had 82 total rushing yards. 20 of those came off the one carry with Ray McCloud. So just shove it up the middle. Just go up the middle with Bijan. Or run a drag route with a fake play action. Just dip it ahead for 2 yards. That's all you need. Kansas City and Steve Spagnuolo said, absolutely not. We're locking up this win right here. And the rest was history. And another reason it's confusing when you look on, bird's eye view of them running that play. Once Caleb McGarry and then Drew Dahlman both went down, your right tackle and your center, it was just very tragic after they got injured in the first half. You had a knee injury from McGarry, and Dahlman injured his ankle as well. Storm Norton and Ryan Neusel came in, and the rest was history for that offensive line. It was hard for them to generate anything when you get pressure in the trenches. Now, overall, I thought the Falcons moved the ball well in this game with play action, but again, the running game never got going. And eventually, you saw the Chiefs caught up to what Atlanta was doing. They just started getting pressure with 4 players. Anytime you can rush a quarterback with 4, you automatically got 7 in coverage. So it's really hard to pass the ball when you don't have to send extra personnel to get after the quarterback. It's a little different when you blitz 5 because there's one less man on the backside. Someone might be open. Can they account for a running back, a tight end, and a few wide receivers? Oh, okay, you want to bring 6, now you only have 5 in coverage. But when the numbers game aren't on your side and 4 rushers are getting through 5 linemen, it's a bad O-line at that time. And again, I'll reckon with you, Atlanta. Our first and second best offensive linemen, not only for us, but graded wise by PFF in the league, put up 12 points as the number 1 offense in the NFL. And it was hard for the Falcons once Caleb McGarry and Drew Dahlman went out in this one. So the Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17. Falcons fall to 1-2. Yes, Falcons fall to 1-2. Chiefs go to 3-0. And, it feels like a little bit the Chiefs have gotten some they've gotten a little bit of good grace. Isaiah Likely with in the Topener, out by a shoe size. The call against Cincinnati, and then at home it's a call in Arrowhead, so I guess it is what it is. And then on the road in Atlanta, and they don't have that call made on them. So with the Chiefs looking beatable, they're 3-0. I know it's kind of crazy to say, but they're 3-0, could easily be 0-3.